Hello everybody, I'm your host Too Elusive, and this time Zelda will be joining us on this video for another guide on this character. Now, one thing I would like to basically talk about today is when it's okay to use Nayru's Love versus using any of Zelda's tilts. Now, it is a clear fact that when all else fails, when you're playing this character, Nayru's Love is the one true answer. Like, it's a tried and true. It does its job very well. It can reflect, it gives you in-bomb frames in the beginning of the move, and most importantly, it can push people away. Plus, you can set up some pretty gimpy stuff with this move. Like, you can run off stage, gimp somebody that has a vertical recovery like the Belmonts, the Fire Emblem characters, if they aren't Chrom or Ike because of the armor they get in the beginning of their move. But if you happen to hit them as they're coming up with the swords that they have, and like Nayru's Love right there, you can actually hit them out of their recovery and cause them to, well, die. So you have that going on for you at least, because remember, you have in-bomb frames in the beginning of the move. So yeah, this move has a lot of utility. The point I'm trying to make here is, why would you ever want to tilt when you have a move that does everything for you already? Well, that's because the move doesn't exactly do everything. There are some benefits to tilting instead of using Nayru's Love to basically get out of tight situations. Well, the first thing you need to know on why you would want to tilt instead of Nayru's Love is the fact that her tilts, at least two of her tilts, come out faster than Nayru's Love. At first glance, Nayru's Love is a pretty quick move that comes out, but two of her tilts outspeed the move and can set up for other things. So, for example, you have her up tilt. Her up tilt comes out at frame 7, and it can be used to juggle. Now, one thing you gotta keep in mind, and I brought this up in an earlier video that I've done in the past, is that the most you can get out of an up tilt juggle at low percentages is 2. After 2 hits, they can do anything they want. They could fall with a nair, they could jump out, they could do whatever. So you have to keep in mind that you only get 2 hits, and then after that you may want to consider jumping into a nair or trying to chase them down, go for a grab or something else. Like, just do anything except for another up tilt, because you only get 2 of those. But yeah, the up tilt is mainly used for juggling. It's just used to send your opponent upwards so you can go for potential juggles or other setups. That's why you would want to up tilt over Nayru's Love. Now, down tilt is another move that comes out pretty fast. This move's hitbox is active after frame 5. So 5 frames is how long it takes, which is pretty neat. Okay, you see how fast that is? Compared to Nayru's Love, that's pretty fast. And that's mainly because Nayru's Love has a bit of a wind-up animation before the move is active. Like Nayru's Love's active frames, they kick in after frame 11 for that move. With the down tilt, it comes out at frame 5. And for those who don't really understand what that means, it basically means that it's fast. It's faster than her up tilt, it's faster than Nayru's Love, it's definitely faster than her forward tilt for sure. Now, why would you want a down tilt? Well, it's simply because it's faster, and it does almost the same thing that Nayru's Love does. Mainly, it's to keep people off of you, and that's about it. Now, it may not have a lot of knockback like you see here compared to Nayru's Love, which really pushes him back and gives you a lot of breathing room, whereas this move, it still keeps them in your face. But at the end of the day, the reason why you would still want to down tilt is you want to disrupt their momentum, you want to disrupt their rhythm, you want to throw them off their game a little bit. When it comes to pressing the advantage and trying to stay on your opponent, any kind of disruption is enough to be able to possibly get out of a tight situation. Even if it's just a little bit, you can possibly do something out of it as a result. Now, another reason why you would want to consider down tilting, aside from rhythm interruption, is you can also go into a certain bread and butter after your down tilt. Now, for midweights like Mario, let's see, make sure everything is good. Midweights like Mario, you can do this at least around level 60, around 60%, 60-70%, and the same for heavyweights as well. But you want to keep in mind that if you're going to do that, you have to step forward just a little bit. So I will do it again, but I'm going to slow it down so you can see that I had to actually step forward a little bit to get that to connect. But the thing is, with the flash kick setup, it doesn't always work. And I'm going to tell you why it doesn't always work. It's because if your opponent is DIing away from you when they get hit by the down tilt, they're not going to get hit by that move. But chances are they'll still get hit by it, mainly because the move comes out fast and they probably wouldn't expect it. They wouldn't think to DI away from you immediately, which gives you enough time to take an extra step forward and then hit them with a short hop flash kick. That's another thing as well. If you're going to do this setup, you have to make sure that you step forward a little bit before doing the short hop into the flash kick. Because if you don't do that, this is what it'll look like. You see that? Doing that, it's not going to connect at all. You have to actually step forward just a little bit in order for it to connect, and hope that your opponent does not DI away from you when you're doing that, because it will miss if they DI. It'll either miss or you're going to get the noodle hitbox, which is what you don't want. So that's something you want to keep in mind as well. Now, another thing you need to know about that particular setup is that it works on lightweights around 40%, works on midweights and heavies around 60 to 75%. Any percentage higher than that, it's not going to work, and even earlier for lightweights. So it's a very precise, very situational move. The best time I would ever use that setup, honestly, it's near the ledge when they don't have a lot of stage control. A lot of people are going to try their hardest to get back on the stage and regain stage control. So if you get the down tilt off and they're not going to DI like outward to get away from you unless they are perfectly aware of that setup and they can like go right back on stage. Now, one other thing about this move is that it only works on midweights and heavyweights around 60 to 75%. And for lightweights, it works only between 40 to 45%. Any percentage higher than that, it's not going to work on lightweights. Lightweights is like the only type of characters that I wouldn't use this setup on. I wouldn't even bother, to be perfectly honest, on lightweights. But for mids and heavies, you have a much better chance to do it. Now, would you want to fish for that move actively? No, I would not, because again, with how Zelda's kit works in this game, that's not entirely a move you want to fish for. Sure, if the opportunity presents itself, definitely go for it, but don't go around trying to fish for it to get like an early kill, because it could get you into a lot of trouble. But yes, down tilt comes out the fastest out of all her moves. It disrupts rhythm, which is what you generally want to do, and it can lead into potential subs for the character. And that's why you would want to down tilt over Nayru's Love. But on the flip side, Nayru's Love is a little bit, I shouldn't even say a little bit, but more reliable, and it's safer. That's what Nayru's Love has over down tilt. That's the other thing that it has over up tilt as well. It's overall a much safer move because it covers in front and behind, comes out at frame 11. Even though it's slower than the other two moves that I've mentioned, it's still an overall much safer move. So you only want to go for up tilt and down tilting when you want to set up for juggles or possible, and I mean slightly possible kill confirm. That's when you want to go for those, or just to disrupt their rhythm altogether. Then we have her forward tilt. Now her forward tilt is the only move that Nayru's Love outspeeds when it comes to her tilts alone. And what was it? I believe the forward tilt's frame data is, I think it's active on frame 12. So it's off by 1 frame. Nayru's Love is active after frame 11 upon activation, whereas her forward tilt is frame 12. The forward tilt also has more recovery frames than her Nayru's Love. So not only is Nayru's Love much safer to use compared to her forward tilt, but it also has more. But her forward tilt also has more recovery frames. Like, you're able to act much earlier out of Nayru's Love compared to her forward tilt. Okay, so what is the real benefit to being able to use her forward tilt then over Nayru's Love? Well, I'll show you. Forward tilt has more reach than Nayru's Love. Okay, that's the first reason. It has more reach. The second reason is because it can kill. If I were to do that exact same move to Mario, I should say Nayru's Love that is, and let's say it does hit, that's how long, well, I shouldn't say that's how long, that's how far Mario's gonna fly at that trajectory in the same percentage. Her forward tilt, on the other hand, I could be like, I'd say right about here. Oh wow, Nayru's Love actually connected from that reach. That's funny. But you see how long it took to connect? But whereas with her forward tilt, I can just do that and he dies. So it comes out slightly, and I mean extremely slightly slower than Nayru's Love, but it gives Zelda the ability to kill. Because it has higher knockback than Nayru's Love, and if you really want to like tell people to let you breathe, just smack them and you get a lot of breathing room right there. But that's it for the video right now. I just only wanted to talk about why you would ever want to use Nayru's Love over her tilts, or why you would ever want to use tilts over Nayru's Love. All in all, the tilts in Zelda's kit are very situational. It's completely up to the player when you want to be able to make use of them, and the opportunities just have to show themselves when the time is right. And you learn all of that stuff the more you play the character. So the best way to figure out when to really utilize those tilts I've mentioned is to keep playing the game and figuring this out on your own. But I just hope that I shed a little bit more light on when it's actually okay to utilize those tilts. In any case, that concludes this guide. I hope it really does help out. Recently, I've been playing a lot, and I mean a lot, of Joker. So I may do a video on him in the future, but not quite yet. See, whereas a lot of people can come out with videos on the fly with like the basics and everything, that's not how I do things. I prefer to take my time and, I should say, enjoy my meal, savor every bite, get as much out of it as I possibly can before I go ahead and talk about how good that meal really is. And that's how I'm treating Joker right now. Like, if I really had to say how I feel about Joker after what I played so far, he's pretty freaking amazing. Like, I love the character. He's really, really fun. So I will be doing a video on him later on. But until then, guys, I'm your host, Too Elusive, and as always, play until your thumbs fall off. I'll see you guys later. Peace out.